The rain was coming down in sheets as I drove home, the wipers of my old Volvo working overtime. Chicago in November was never pretty, but tonight it mirrored the turmoil brewing inside me. I am Quentin, 46, an IT specialist. Not exactly a glamorous life, but it was mine. I had a good job, a comfortable home in the suburbs, and a wife, Isolde, whom I loved more than words could say. Or so I thought. We'd been married for 18 years. 18 years of shared dreams, quiet evenings, and the comfortable rhythm of two lives intertwined. We'd met in college, both studying computer science. Isolde was brilliant, sharp, and had this infectious laugh that could light up a room. I was immediately smitten, and thankfully she felt the same. Over the years, things had changed, as they always do. Isolde had transitioned into a management role at her company, a software firm downtown. The long hours and added stress had taken a toll. She was often distant, preoccupied, and our conversations had dwindled to logistical updates and tired good nights. I chalked it up to the pressures of her job. I tried to be supportive, making dinner, running errands, anything to ease her burden. But lately something felt off. The silences were deeper, the distance wider. She started taking her phone everywhere, even to the bathroom. She'd flinch if I got too close, turning the screen away. I'd ask her about it, and she'd brush it off as work emails, urgent messages from her team. I wanted to believe her, I really did, but a knot of unease was tightening in my stomach. The first real crack in the facade came a few weeks ago. I was doing laundry, something I often did to help out. In the pocket of Isolde's favorite coat, I found a receipt. A small, insignificant piece of paper, but it sent a shiver down my spine. It was from a jewelry store, a high-end boutique on Michigan Avenue. The date was last week and the amount was staggering. Several $1,000s. I confronted Isolde that evening, trying to keep my voice calm. "Honey, I found this receipt." "What's this about?" She paled, a flicker of panic in her eyes. "Oh, that? It's a gift for my mother for her birthday." Her mother's birthday was in June, and she hated jewelry. I knew Isolde was lying. The knot in my stomach tightened into a vice. I didn't push it. I didn't want to believe what my gut was telling me. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. I started paying closer attention. I noticed the late nights at the office were becoming more frequent. The business trips seemed longer, more elaborate. She'd come home exhausted, but with a strange, almost manic energy. She was pulling away from me, and I felt like I was losing her, piece by piece. One evening, I decided to do something I'd never done before. I waited until Isolde was asleep, then I carefully picked up her phone. It was locked, of course. I tried her usual passwords, our anniversary, her mother's birthday, nothing worked. Finally, I tried something random, a date that had no significance, at least to me. It unlocked. My heart pounded in my chest as I scrolled through her messages. There were dozens, maybe hundreds of texts and emails. My eyes scanned the names, looking for anything familiar. Then I saw it. A name I recognized. A name that made my blood run cold. Alaric. Alaric was Isolde's boss. He was a smooth-talking, impeccably dressed executive who always seemed a little too interested in my wife. I'd met him a few times at company parties, and I'd always felt a vague sense of unease around him. Now, as I read their messages, my worst fears were confirmed. The messages were explicit, intimate, and filled with a level of passion that Isolde hadn't shown me in years. They talked about secret meetings, stolen moments, and a deep, consuming love. My hands trembled as I scrolled through the endless stream of digital betrayal. Each message was a dagger twisting in my heart. I felt like I was going to be sick. The air in the room was thick and suffocating. I stumbled out of bed and went to the bathroom, where I dry heaved into the toilet. I couldn't breathe. My world was collapsing around me. How could she do this? How could she betray me like this? After all these years, after all we'd shared, how could she throw it all away for some corporate shark? I spent the rest of the night pacing, replaying the messages in my head, trying to make sense of it all. I felt a mix of emotions: rage, sadness, disbelief, and a deep, gnawing sense of betrayal. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. In the morning, Isolde came downstairs looking tired but composed. She acted like nothing was wrong, like everything was normal. "Good morning, honey," she said, kissing me on the cheek. "Did you sleep well?" I stared at her, my eyes burning with anger. Did I sleep well? Are you serious? She frowned. What's wrong? You look awful. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I know about Alaric, I said, my voice trembling. I read your messages. Her face drained of color. Her eyes widened in panic. What are you talking about? Don't lie to me, Isolde. I know everything. The secret meetings, the stolen moments, Theth love. I spat the word out like poison. She started to cry. Quentin, please, it's not what you think. Oh, really? Then what is it, Isolde? An innocent friendship, a professional mentorship. Don't insult my intelligence. She sank to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. It just happened, she stammered. I didn't mean for it to happen, it just happened. You didn't mean for it to happen. You were sending him love letters, Isolde. You were planning secret getaways. How could you not mean for it to happen? She looked up at me, her eyes pleading. I'm so sorry, Quentin. I never wanted to hurt you, but you did hurt me, Isolde. You shattered my heart, you destroyed our marriage. How can I ever trust you again? She didn't have an answer. She just sat there crying, the picture of guilt and remorse. But it was too late. The damage was done. I spent the next few days in a daze going through the motions, trying to function. I went to work, but I couldn't concentrate. I ate, but I couldn't taste anything. I slept, but I was plagued by nightmares. Isolde tried to talk to me, to explain, to apologize, but I couldn't bear to look at her. Every time I saw her face, I saw Alaric's face too. I saw their hands intertwined, their bodies pressed together. The images haunted me. I knew what I had to do. I couldn't stay in this marriage, not after what she'd done. The trust was gone, the love was tainted. I couldn't forgive her. I couldn't forget. I contacted a lawyer and started the divorce proceedings. Isolde was devastated. She begged me to reconsider, to give her another chance. She promised to end things with Alaric, to go to therapy, to do whatever it took to save our marriage, but I was resolute. It's over, Isolde, I said, my voice cold and hard. I can't do this anymore. I deserve better. The divorce was messy and painful. There were arguments over property, finances, and everything in between. Isolde fought me every step of the way, but I refused to back down. I was determined to get out of this marriage with my dignity intact. As the divorce dragged on, I started to hear rumors about Isolde and Alaric. Apparently, their affair had become public knowledge at their company. People were talking, gossiping, and judging. Alaric's wife had found out, and she was furious. She'd confronted him at a company event, creating a scene that everyone was still talking about. I felt a twinge of satisfaction. They were getting what they deserved. Their secret was out, and they were facing the consequences of their actions. Finally, the divorce was finalized. I was free. Free from Isolde, free from the lies, free from the pain. I moved out of our house and into a small apartment downtown. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I started to rebuild my life piece by piece. I focused on my work, I spent time with friends, and I even started dating again. It wasn't easy. The scars of Isolde's betrayal ran deep. But I was determined to heal, to move on, to find happiness again. One day, a few months after the divorce was finalized, I received a phone call. It was from Isolde. Quentin, can we talk? She asked, her voice trembling. I hesitated. I didn't want to talk to her. I didn't want to dredge up the past, but something in her voice made me agree. We met at a coffee shop near my apartment. Isolde looked terrible. She was pale, thin, and her eyes were red and swollen. What do you want, Isolde? I asked, my voice flat. She took a deep breath. Alaric left me, she said. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, really? What happened? Did he find someone younger, prettier, and less damaged? She started to cry. It's not like that, she sobbed. He said he made a mistake. He said he still loved his wife. He said he couldn't leave her. I felt a surge of anger. So he used you, Isolde. He strung you along, slept with you, and then dumped you when things got too hot. Is that what you're telling me? She nodded, tears streaming down her face. I know I deserve it, she said. I know I messed up. But I am so alone, Quentin. I have nothing left. I stared at her, my heart aching. I wanted to hate her, to tell her she deserved everything she was going through, but I couldn't. I saw the pain in her eyes, the despair in her face. I saw the woman I had once loved, the woman who had once loved me. I'm sorry, Isolde, I said, my voice softening. I am sorry you're going through this. She looked up at me, her eyes filled with hope. Does this mean there's a chance for us? Can we try again? I shook my head. No, Isolde, there's no chance for us. What you did was unforgivable. I can't forget it, and I can't forgive you. Her face crumpled. Then why are you being so nice to me? She asked. Because I am not a monster, Isolde. I don't want to see you suffer. But that doesn't mean I'm going to take you back. You made your choices and you have to live with the consequences. I stood up to leave. Goodbye, Isolde, I said. I hope you find happiness someday. I walked away, leaving her sitting there alone and heartbroken. I didn't look back. I couldn't. I knew that if I did, I might weaken, I might give her another chance, and I couldn't do that. I had to protect myself, to move on, to build a new life without her. As I walked down the street, the rain had stopped. The sun was starting to peek through the clouds. It was a new day, a new beginning. And for the first time in a long time, I felt a glimmer of hope. But the story doesn't end there. About 2 years later, I was at a conference in San Francisco. I'd moved on, found a new relationship, and was generally happy. I was giving a presentation on cybersecurity when I saw her. Isolde. She looked different. Older, more worn down, but still undeniably Isolde. After my presentation, she approached me. "Quentin," she said softly, "it's been a long time." "Isolde," I replied, trying to keep my voice neutral. "What are you doing here?" "I work here now," she said, gesturing vaguely. "I moved out here after everything, I see." I didn't really. I couldn't imagine Isolde, the high-powered executive, working some mundane job in San Francisco. "I just wanted to say I am sorry," she said, her eyes welling up with tears. "I really am. I know it doesn't change anything, but I wanted you to know that I regret everything." "I appreciate that, Isolde," I said, surprised by the sincerity in her voice. "And Alaric," she continued, "he's gone. He was fired from his company after the affair came out. His wife left him. He's nowhere." I nodded, absorbing the information. It seemed karma had finally caught up with both of them. "I'm glad you're doing well, Quentin," she said, forcing a smile. "You look happy." "I am," I replied, thinking of my girlfriend, Alaric. "I really am." "Well," Isolde said, "I should get going." "It was good to see you, Quentin." "You too, Isolde," I said, watching her walk away. As she disappeared into the crowd, I felt a strange sense of closure. It wasn't forgiveness, not exactly, but it was acceptance. I accepted that what had happened, and that there was nothing I could do to change it. I accepted that Isolde was gone from my life, and that she was now just a memory, a ghost from my past. And as I walked away from the conference center into the bright California sunshine, I knew that I was finally free. Free from the pain, free from the anger, free from the bitterness. I was free to move on, to embrace the future, and to find happiness with Alaric. The final twist came about a year after that encounter. I received a letter in the mail. It was a handwritten letter, something you rarely see these days. The return address was a small town in Oregon. Curious, I opened it. It was from Isolde. She wrote that she had moved to Oregon, to a small farm where she was working with rescued animals. She said she had found peace and contentment in her new life. She wasn't rich or successful, but she was happy. And she wanted me to know that she was truly sorry for what she had done, and that she hoped I had found happiness too. The letter ended with a simple sentence. "I hope you can forgive me someday, Quentin. Not for my sake, but for yours." I sat there for a long time, staring at the letter. For the first time since the affair, I felt a flicker of something. Not forgiveness, not exactly, but maybe understanding. Maybe, just maybe, Isolde had finally learned her lesson. Maybe she had finally found redemption. I never replied to the letter. I didn't need to. I knew that Isolde was on her own path and I was on mine. And that was okay. We had both made mistakes, we had both suffered, and we had both found our own ways to heal. And in the end, that's all that really mattered. But there is one more thing, something that I think about from time to time. A few years after that, I was looking through some old photos from our wedding, from our early years together, and I saw something I had never noticed before. In one of the photos, taken at our wedding reception, Alaric was there. He was a colleague of Isolde's, and he had been invited to the wedding. He was standing in the background, watching us with a strange expression on his face. It was a look of envy, a look of longing, and I realized that their affair hadn't just been a random act of lust or boredom. It had been something more complicated, something deeper. It had been about power, about ambition, about a twisted sense of desire. And I realized that I had been a pawn in their game, a victim of their twisted emotions. And that, more than anything, made me feel sad. Sad for Isolde, sad for Alaric, and sad for myself. But I also knew that I had survived. I had come out of it stronger, wiser, and more resilient. And that, in the end, was all that really mattered.